Good mate yourself?
Aye, good mate. What are you up to tonight at training, and what are the boys up to ahead of the game on Saturday against Carluke?
The boys are just prepping, sort of last minute prep, doing their wee sort of games, shape and stuff like that. Tonight I'm sorting what's happening for Saturday, so GPS's kit. Me and the gaffer were sharing a wee match report we've done on another team over the weekend there. So that kind of thing tonight. I'm not on the pitch tonight, I've just got a couple of things to do off the pitch, so just that at the minute.
Yeah. Disappointing defeat last Friday against Stoke and Goal.
Yeah.
A wee bit of a difficult period in the league. What are we looking for this weekend differently?
Obviously it's different because it's not a league game. Definitely disappointing on Friday night. I thought first 20-25 minutes we had it, to be honest, but just goes like that sometimes. Difficult wee period, but I think we'll climb back no problem. We're strong, resilient side this season, kind of lacking that last season. Sometimes it was a bit difficult to get points in tough games, but I think we'll do alright. But this weekend we're just looking to get a good result. Obviously we want a win in the cup, get through to the next round obviously.
Yeah. Do you see a progression from last season, like when you joined?
Definitely, in terms of it's a different kind of mindset now. The boys last season were really kind of, they're a really young team and really new, so obviously it was hard to gauge how well we'd do that early, but now we're doing better in that sense that we know we're a good team. I think last season we were struggling to have that mindset of a good team, which happens obviously. New team, new boys, you see it with some of the bigger clubs nowadays. New team obviously hard to gel quick, but yeah, definitely an improvement this season.
No, you might not want to give too much away, but inside the dressing room, do you guys have targets for the season?
In terms of like achieving?
Yeah, in terms of achieving positions.
Well, obviously boys will have their own individual targets. Like last season I set myself a target of minimum 10 goals. Obviously cut short pretty early, but obviously Ross McNeil striker, Jamie Watson striker will have, obviously as a striker that will have goal targets. But the gaffer doesn't set too much targets on the boys because he knows that can creep in to just overall performance. You obviously want a performance first before any goals are sort of met.
Yeah. Looking at your career, you started out at Motherwell. How valuable an experience was that, like coming through one of the top academies in the country?
It was good, obviously. It was a good backing. They knew how to sort of make you a good player, and they knew what to give you in terms of training and stuff like that, so it was invaluable for me. I got that at a very young age, 12, 13, so I was really glad of that. But no, it was a nice time at Motherwell because it all went well, you know what I mean? So it wasn't one of the ones that you hated the club around, it was going well with all the players and staff, so that backing definitely helped me nowadays as well.
You obviously were in the youth set up at Scotland as well, as a youngster, very highly rated. How valuable was that as well, like playing with some of the top youngsters at the time?
It was good, obviously. It was everything's good in that sense. It was another level again. I first thought at Motherwell, you kind of think you're obviously the top dog in a way, but when you get picked for a squad like that, you know you need to do even better again. So it probably raised my standards. It gave me knowledge on different areas of my game, different areas of football. I've worked with some other coaches that I probably wouldn't have worked with if it hadn't been for Scotland. So everything that I've done so far in football has been a good lesson for me. So definitely brilliant. Probably my most enjoyable football period that period, to be honest.
Yeah. And out of those teams that you played with at Scotland, who now has progressed onto a higher level?
So there's a good few boys doing well. I played with Kai Kennedy, who's at Rangers. He's on loan a few times. Connor Barron's in the first team at Aberdeen. Connor Smith's in the first team at Hearts. And the one I mentioned on the Instagram story that I done, Jensen Weir, he's the son of Davy Weir. He's at Brighton, but he's on loan just now. So he's excelling as well. There's numerous boys. So played with Karamoko Dembele. He was a big sort of social media fame then. He's obviously in France now as well. So good few boys.
Yeah. Obviously coming through one of the most talented youngsters at Motherwell, how tough a decision was it when you had to leave the club?
It was a difficult one because it wasn't like some of the boys that I know older than me or younger than me that have just been released or they've had to leave. It was down to COVID. So the season that COVID popped up, Motherwell, obviously we stopped early in like March time and we got told to be back in middle April, so we were like, right, cool, keep yourself fit over the next few weeks. But it got to the point where we hadn't heard anything for a few weeks. Me and obviously Jack Brown, who's here, we were in the same Motherwell squad, and we'd been texting each other in the wee group chats going, what's going on here, we don't know what's going on. It got to the May where our contract expired, and we found out over a video call that with no reserve league, so there was no point in them offering contracts to boys who were as reserve players. They weren't playing the first team, fair enough, but it was obviously difficult to have to leave a club like that full time, to have to go and search for a club. There was no sort of aftercare in that sense. There was no real find your club and that, so it was just one of those ones I just had to get on with.
Yeah. And you spent a wee bit of time at Forfar after that, and then came on to the Braves in summer 2021. You'd had an injury before that, which I believe was reoccurring at the start of the season with Braves.
Yeah, it wasn't reoccurring. So obviously I left Motherwell, we went on trial at Queen's Park, pretty positive, but the manager in there had signed Simon Murray, and the problem with doing stuff as well at first team level, so I kind of went, I don't want to be third choice striker, so I went to Forfar. Didn't get much game time. Under Stuart Malcolm, who's the Rangers manager, didn't work out. One of those ones just didn't work out, and it was weird how I ended up coming to Braves. I decided to leave Forfar in January, and I said to my dad, I was like, I'm just going to train myself till the summer. I'm not going to go anywhere and try and play myself into a team mid-season. I said I'm going to go to the summer, train myself, and one of my old boys club coaches, Airdrie Boys Club, before I went to Motherwell, Ricky Airdrie, was a coach at the Braves 20s side at the time. And I texted him, I said, you're still coaching a team? I said, can I just come in and just try and do some sessions? He went, absolutely no bother. So I trained up at Airdrie Sports Centre, 2 sessions in. Their manager, Stevie Collins, said to me, listen, there's no point in training here. It was like, their team were getting a bit annoyed with me training with them because I wasn't signed and I was probably a bit further ahead in terms of level, so he contacted the gaffer. The gaffer was running individual sessions down here with some of the Edu Sport boys. I came down probably in mid-April, started training every day. I was working part-time at the time. I was only working 2 or 3 days, so I could train virtually every day. And the gaffer just said, come in, train as much as you want, and if you want to sign, you can sign. I really want you to sign, basically. So I'm happy for you to be here. But I had a few other offers, but as soon as I seen how the gaffer was with me, and at the time he'd known me from Motherwell days because he had coached St Mirren Rangers. I knew it was the place for me. It was the first time, it was, to be honest, the first time I'd enjoyed football in a good few years, so I thought it's the right place to be, and it's the place I'm going to get back to loving football and possibly a path to full time again. That's what obviously I always wanted to be, full time, so it was one of those ones I had to do it because it was making me happy, which was the be on end all for me at that point. I'd had a year of football professionally, so yeah, that happened. But obviously started the season off pretty well. I'd scored a few goals. I was 19 at the time, scored a few goals, playing well, and one night in training I'd ruptured my ACL at Motherwell when I was 15 through tumbling and getting caught in the turf, but I'd got surgery privately by Motherwell. I really paid for it. I went down to the Leeds to get it done, and the ACL was absolutely perfect. I never done a problem until that night, but just a freak moment, caught in the turf again on that pitch, and it's obviously heart-wrenching, it's gutting, but it's just one of those ones. It wasn't a career current, it wasn't something weakened, it was just, the chances that are quite low when you look at it online. It's meant to be less likely to happen again once you've had it reconstructed, but it just happened. So no, I got scanned and stuff, and obviously got the news, but I'm still waiting on NHS a date at the minute. Obviously I've kind of moved on from playing just now because I've not had any sort of operation or anything yet, but I'm not too negative about it. I'm trying to remain positive and just get out of football what I'm doing just now.
You mentioned before that you started the season pretty well last season, and then what was the initial diagnosis of your injury? Like how soon did you expect to be back?
Well, it was a weird one. It was really weird because at first I'd injured on the 16th of September last year on a Thursday night before we played, I think, Stirling Uni in the Scottish Cup here, which we got put out. It was one of those ones the gaffer said, we can't believe that's happened, then that's happened. But I got scanned about a month later, and they'd said the knee had come down swelling, I'd got movement back, and the doctor says to me, listen, you've not ruptured your ACL, you've had damage a part of the rear outside of my knee, and he said, let it heal 2 or 3 months, light gym work, training, and you get back. So followed all that. Euan rehabbed me, and we were getting quite well. Came back training, and I got back to full training like tonight with the boys, and it just didn't feel right. But I got through it. no pain in it. I knew deep down it was just kind of off. And one day in training, I just went to plant on the right foot, the volley, a ball back to Jamie Walker. It was just me, the gaffer, Jamie Walker, and a French boy at the time, and we're doing a fitness session. Went to plant, and the knee just buckled, and got scanned the week after that. So I was back January, and the start of January I was kind of back for training. It was one of those ones we also spoke about the gaffer that I was quite lucky it happened in training at the speed it did, because if I'd have got through the weeks kind of during that, I'd have maybe got back to a game situation. He'd have brought me on, and that would have happened at game speed. So obviously it's one of those ones, I took it, I got scanned, and they broke the news in about March time that I'd re-ruptured the ACL. So it's just one of those ones, I just need to get on with it. But no, it's just need to get on with it and look up to the future, you know what I mean?
So obviously a long-term injury such as the ACL, that must have been incredibly frustrating. But you've obviously decided to stay with the Braves. What were the main reasons for doing so?
Obviously first off, they were really good in committing to me. So the gaffer says to me, obviously it's a year's contract in the league usually, so it came to the end of my contract this year. The gaffer was like, listen, I want you to stay here, because he knew I was looking at an option of coaching, and Euan was obviously giving me the kind of pleasure of having that rehab there. So first off, for me that was a great gesture by the club, because the club, it's not a big professional club with hundreds of money, so they can't just give all their time, because obviously time is money. They can't just give all their time to someone that I'm not helping them out on the pitch just now. So that if they rehab me just now, they're not getting it out anyway. So that to me was a great gesture, so I couldn't look by that. But also I wanted to be here because, one, the club is obviously a very new club and got modern ways of thinking, which I would like to think I'm modern coach or player. So that really to me was one of the reasons. But another reason is just the gaffer in general. We got on really well, and now that I'm in more a staff role, we get on well. We talk pretty much daily on coaching matters, off the field, club matters. So we've done a few school visits and stuff like that. So no, it's just a good community club as well. So I just thought it's the right club to be at to continue rehab and start my coaching journey.
So you mentioned a wee bit there about what you do off the pitch now. Just for the fans, just could you talk a wee bit more about how your role's evolved? It
might take a while, but so at the minute I've took on a role of kind of doing a lot behind the scenes. So it started off kind of pre-season. I just came in and the gaffer's on holiday, so me and Wince were just taking sessions on here for the boys. But I've started a kind of coaching course, so obviously I'm coaching for the club a bit sometimes. I would like to sort of progress the coaching. I help out a lot with the kit, so we sort the kit for match days and that if I just muck in. We recently got the catapult GPS systems. I've self-taught myself on how to use them, how to extract data and kind of report the data back to the gaffer. I do that, and obviously I help out with sort of behind the scenes stuff as well. So Ethel, me, her do Excel sheets sometimes like that, and some Word documents. And then on Saturday there and at the start of the season, I went to matches for the gaffer. So the one at the start of the season, which we managed to actually get a few players from, was the PFA exit trials in a way. So I went and watched the game with the Braves, the Edu manager Stuart. Me and him went to the game, and we kind of scouted out some players and what we liked about them. I'd say we got a good 5-6 of them in that we thought were the right fit for the club, kind of young, enthusiastic players that wanted to come in and do well. So I've done that for the gaffer. I went and watched the game at the weekend there for him, just to report back on a team in our league, and just to report back on players and how they play. So I'm kind of scouting, coaching and helping in the background. That's my sort of roles at the minute. Obviously the way the club's looking to go on, I'd like to do more and more, but obviously time is a work as well, so it's hard to balance it all. But I'm willing to do as much as I can for the club in as much time as I've got. It's one of those ones, it bounces off each other. The gaffer's not got a lot of expectation on me because he knows my time is hard to get as well. So quite a lot, but it's good because I like being busy.
So obviously, having moved from a role on the pitch to off the pitch and on the sidelines, is that frustrating watching the guys out there when you know you could be out there if it weren't for an unfortunate injury? Or do you take a lot of pride watching those boys now that you've sort of evolved to a coaching role?
For the first part, obviously I got injured kind of early season last season, so the first part obviously I was still a player, so I would go to the games and stand behind the barrier and just watch over the barrier, and I would be like, you kind of get bad thoughts going, oh, I could be playing there, I'm better than that, but you have to take what you've got. So I'm now obviously kind of believing in that what you've got, so at the minute I'm obviously helping out, so the boys out there now, I hope I'm giving them help rather than actually being negative towards it. So no, now I'm happy to be around football, and it's like, it's my release jobs. I work during the day, family life, pretty busy with that, and I do a lot of other stuff as well. So football's obviously my main interest. So no, I just like being around the boys and helping them out. So now I'm at peace with it, because I know it is a long-term injury. So however long it takes to get back from that, or if we get back from that, because it's getting into the depth of it, it's quite invasive and stuff like that. So it could have long-term effects, but I'm just taking it as it comes now until that time comes of surgery, etc. We'll just leave that to the end. But no, I'm just doing as much as I can off the pitch just now to make myself occupied and keep the boys happy.
Yeah. Do you think how close knit that squad is another reason why you've stayed on at the club?
Definitely, it's a group of pals inside in the dressing room. We're all mates, and I've been at clubs, probably Forfar was an example where it was probably due to COVID, we had to travel separate cars. You got to the dressing room, there was only 3 in each room, there was boys in hospitality rooms, so that was, for me, that season wasn't a close knit team because none of the boys knew each other. We only trained them for an hour twice a week, and that was you. And if you didn't play on a Saturday, you'd be head down, you didn't want to talk to anybody. So no, this group have been together for like a year now. Some obviously fresh faces who are actually doing a really good job. Another thing obviously I can say about me and the gaffer is I suggested a few players to him, and we brought them in, and they've done well. So there's absolutely no doubt that the close-knit group is held it together, and it's good to see it, because some teams it's just all about competitive, whereas this group of boys are competitive in training, but off the pitch they're all mates. You can go out for something to eat, or you can obviously have had nights out together and stuff as well. So definitely that's been a main reason obviously I've wanted to stay.
What is your proudest moment in football so far?
It's a weird one, because chronologically you could go like doing one of that boys club, signing full time, Scotland debuts, but I don't know, to be honest. Probably Scotland debut, because there was a lot of my family there, and it's so weird because it's like a different level. See, because you know it's like you're not just playing for a club that most folk could end up playing for. It's like it's quite different. So it was probably that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. What are your goals, football wise, and also life in general? What are your ambitions?
It's a good one, to be fair. Life in general, just to be happy at like what I do, because obviously I've got family members that work jobs that they don't like, but it's done them well just to keep paying stuff. I'm probably the only one in the family that's really football oriented. They're all football fans, but not all have played football, so they're quite proud of that. So family's a big thing for me, so probably to keep the family happy, because that's my number one thing, family. But football wise, I'm looking to, Gaffer knows this, obviously kind of it's club known now that I'm looking to try and get heavily coaching the next couple of years. I'd like to take off at coaching, because you don't know how long you've got playing, which is clearly an example of me last year, but I'm still playing it by ear, because I don't know if I'll play again, because it's not like a career threatening injury. It can be if you don't get the right help, but I know I'll get the right help. It's just it got to a point where the way we talked to the doctor, it was quite heavy in terms of surgery. So just look to see what happens with that. But coaching at the minute is the main goal. I'm doing a scouting exam in the next few weeks, so I can be a fully qualified scout. And I'm kind of midway through the early learning process of coaching. The coaching bit takes longer because there's a lot of parents that want to coach their kids' teams. So that takes a lot longer, and you need to do Zoom calls now. It's not really, it's not in person until your kind of C licence exam. So We've done the 1.1, 1.2, so November time 1.3. So that's my that's at the minute that's kind of update.
And what have you taken from Ricky Waddle, our manager, in terms of managerial or coaching traits?
He's a good man manager. Like he knows his players. He knows how to treat players. So I've took that away from how I treat the boys now. So it's weird for me because obviously I'm still mates with the boys because I've played with them. So it's not like the age difference. I'm probably still top 3 youngest in the squad. Yeah. So it's like one of the ones that I found it tough to kind of break away from the group at the start. Because I was like, will they take me serious? Will they tell me to shut up when I try and maybe instruct them or help them? But they've took it quite well. So the gaffer's probably helped that as well in the sense that he's pushed the boys to recognise me as staff, because he could have just let me exist there in that role and not really took much about it. But he's kind of took me under his wing and showed me the kind of basics so far. But I've took that away from him. Obviously you can see his temperament, his firing and stuff like that. So I've still got to work out how I'm going to be as a coach and a manager, but no, just the kind of basics I took away from it is how to treat people. Obviously the sessions he puts on, I'm trying to take as much away from it. I'm noting it down in my notebooks, reporting back to him the stuff that I'm finding on like GPSs, obviously going watching games, how I can maybe do the middleman between he maybe takes he can be serious with the players, whereas I can go and say to the boys like, how are you doing, like, are you feeling alright, what's going on, and I can talk about their personal life, whereas maybe there's got to be a line between a manager and the players, which I can kind of break because I'm a coach, I'm a juniory coach, so it's good to have that link as well, probably for him, because he's understanding his players maybe more emotionally and off the pitch as well, so it's a good one having that, definitely.
And just looking at the club in the future, how far do you think Caledonian Braves can go?
I think it's all dependent on how the boys do on the pitch. The results are how the club will climb in terms of points, table, competitions, but Chris the owner's got big ambitions, so does the gaffer, and so do all we, so you probably yourself do as well, because you want to be part of it, so I'm sort of no doubt that if people want to be part of something, then it's going in the right direction. So it's endless possibilities for a new club, some ambition. I think obviously the idea is you want to go as high in the leagues as you can, whether you do that or not is down to the pitch, but no, ambition of myself would hopefully reflect on the club. It's do as well as you can. That's the key.
Right, top man.
Cheers, man. Appreciate it.